Hello, my fellow board gamers. Today I'm bringing you a run through of Istanbul. We've got the designer at the top here, and it's brought to us by these guys at the bottom. This one plays roughly 40 to 60 minutes, which is about right, and it's got a play range from 2 to 5. Now, if you're after a shorter insight on this one, you can go and check out my overview I brought you guys last week. And complexity wise, I'd say it's that medium complexity. Now, in this game, you have your merchants, and you'll be heading around this bazaar in Istanbul, all these back streets essentially, and you're taking your assistants with you to do various actions in the hope of efficiently getting these rubies and filling your wheelbarrow. Now, I've got a two-player setup today, and there's just me as usual. We've got the yellows and reds, and here's your wheelbarrow, and you're trying to get 6 rubies to win the game in a two-player version. And once you've acquired 6, these guys are going to be starting player. Your opponent will have the chance to take one more turn unless they were the starting player. Say these guys finished it, and then it would end. So in terms of what the board is, it's kind of this all these varied cards. So you've got a lot of variety from game to game as to where these randomly are dealt, and there's a host of things. I'm not going to go for explain each one on the offset, but I'm going to dive pretty much straight in here. So yellows are at first. You've got your wheelbarrow. This sort of depicts the resources you've got there, and you're keeping track of your rubies at the bottom. You've got one of these cards which would normally be secret, but I've got them face up today, and I'll explain what those do in a minute. You've got your starting player, and you start 2 money, and these guys have 3 money. Now on the board, you've got the fountain, which is the starting spot for your merchants and assistants. So yellow, the first thing they can do is, are they going to choose, and you've got this really handy player guide, I should say. So on your turn, you're going to move your stack, so your merchants and assistants, 1 or 2 places. So we could literally go, you can't go diagonal, so we could go 1, 2. Let's have a look where we're going to go. Let's go and show you the tea house first. So we go 1, 2. You then leave the bottom assistant there. So you kind of make 2 separate stacks. He's going to work. His assistant has gone to the tea house, and he's going to do something for you. And in this case, you do the action straight away. So this particular one, the tea house, you make an estimate between 3 and 12. So let's say 5. You roll both dice. It's really good for the iconography on this one. And if it is less, what it says here, if it's 5 or more, you get the number, so you get 5 money in this case. Whoa, we've got 9, so maybe we should have been a bit more optimistic. But if you don't reach your number, let's say I went for 10 and I got a 9, my compensation would be 2 money. So it's a bit of a gamble as to how high you go. Now there is a really nice way to complement that outcome by attaining this spot up here from the small mosque. Now when you attain this, which you need to spend 2 red resource, which is cloth I believe, or silk, you get the ability to turn one of those dice outcomes into a 4. So let's say we did go with 5 and we rolled, a 3 and a 1, we could turn that 1 into a 4. All of a sudden we've got a 7. Or you could do a re-roll. So I'll kind of go through that spot when we get there. So we've landed here, we've took our money. So that's pretty much number 1 you can do. You could also, which will become apparent soon, you could come back from, say if you dropped on there, you could go 1, 2, and then you land on the previous assistants. That's a nice way of going around the board, picking up assistants, dropping them off, because if you didn't have any assistants under your merchant, that merchant on his own can't do an action from a certain spot unless you get back to the fountain. And at the fountain, you can see the iconography says there, you bring all your merchants back, no cost. It doesn't matter if any other merchants are here, and then you can pretty much carry on going. So we went here, we've dropped one off. Let's see what reds fancy doing. They are going to go over to this location, which is the fruit warehouse. So this is where they're going to stock up on a load of fruit on their wheelbarrow. Now, they have come across this chap here who's the governor, and you can do this first or not. and I'll do the action on the warehouse first. So literally you just move your fruit, so this represents all the fruit in your wheelbarrow, as far as you can. Now you'll notice there's some gaps here because you can expand your wheelbarrow by going to this Wainwright location, and you can pay 7 money to attain one of these, and they slot nicely in there. And you can see now when you take one of these warehouse actions, say the fabric here or the fruit, you then get to up it further. So, yeah, you may want to go and get one of them quickly, but you need the money. So maybe you're going to go to the tea house, which they have done, and they have got 7 money. So we'll see how that pans out. So these guys have gone all yellow. Now, when you have either the governor or the smuggler in black, and you can see kind of on the top, it sort of demonstrates what they do. The governor, you can take 1 bonus card, and you can take it from this sort of pile here. And for taking it, you can either discard 1 bonus card. So, for example, you might have taken this top one. You're looking at your 2 cards, and like, actually, I don't really want that one. And you put it on top here, and that's potentially attainable when you go to this spot. So it's a way of sort of getting new cards and discarding ones you might not prefer. Or if you like both cards, it says here, you don't have to discard one, you could just pay 2 money. So they could pay 2 money and they've got 2 cards, which is probably advantageous here because you can see they're going to gain 5 money by using that. So they paid 2 and now they've got more money earned by having come across this governor in the back streets. And then you would roll the dice if you have used that particular person, or maybe even if you haven't actually. I think it's just in the county. You go to number 8 and you can see all the locations have got numbers. So where is number 8? Here we go. It's just gone one at Black Market. And the smuggler then, while we're here, it's optional for both of these. You take 1 good. So there's 4 types of goods in the game. Blue is slightly scarcer than the others, so they're the 4 colours. And you either give 1 good back, and goods are just represented on here by moving them, as I've already said. Or you can pay 2 money, and then you roll the dice for the new location. Okay, so reds have gone there. They took advantage of that. And yellows are up, and you just keep going back and forth. The starting player stays there as a reference to the end of the game. It's literally a race. You're racing around these back streets trying to do things as quickly as you can. So let's just try a few different spots then. We're going to go to the fabric warehouse. So we leave an assistant there. Yellows, increase that to the max. Oh, that's a bad move. What we were going to do is we're going to go up here to the Wainwright because we have got 7 money. So we pay 7 money. We take one of these, pop it in there. Done. Over to red. They are, right, red have 2 yellows, so what they're going to do is going to go 1, 2. Now, there is another merchant here, so in a 2-player game, you do start the merchants that are out of the game on certain spots, and you just re-roll to go where they are. So when you come across a merchant, and it's all explained on here really nicely, it says that if you encounter other merchants, you pay 2 lira to each merchant. Now, they haven't. Oh, well, actually, yep, we can spend this card, and you can have as many of these and spend them. I believe you can have as many as you want. Where's it saying that? Make your stack. Oh, I can't remember that one. But anyway, we're going to trade this back in, put it face up there. We're going to take 5 money. We're going to have to pay 2 of that back to the bank because there's a merchant here of an opponent. We're going to re-roll the dice, number 6. This merchant now goes to number 6, which is down here. Now, if you landed on, if red went here where their opponent is, which is actually in play the yellow, then yellow would get that 2 money. Now we're in a position to spend these 2 yellow fruit. We're going to attain this card, and in a 2-player game, you skip the 3s and 5s. You can see it goes for a 2 required and a 4. So we now acquire this. Keep it in front of us to remind us what it does. And what this allows us to do is what we got. You pay 2 money and you can bring an assistant back to your stack. So let's say Reds had an assistant over here and they really needed it back. You could pay 2 money and you could bring it straight back rather than having to focus about getting back to the fountain. And that's what I love about this game, the variety, because sometimes the fountain's kind of in the middle, sometimes it's up here. So you really having to look at this initial layout and decide, how am I going to achieve the maximum efficiency? Sometimes you've got a couple of warehouses next to each other and you're like, right, I'll get this yellow, then I'll get this green, then I'll go straight to the market. But the markets are kind of down here. I'll explain what the market's doing in a minute. Or maybe you're going to go to this post office and this one and then constantly go to the tea house. So a whole host of different combinations. So these guys have acquired the that extra bonus there. And they drop one of these assistants off. Over to yellows. Maybe they just want to go and get more money and keep going back to get that one, and I think we're gonna demonstrate the post office for you. So we're going to go 1, 2. Now you don't pick them up as you go along, so you drop one there. Now in the post office you can see there's 4 cubes covering up 4 spots, and you attain everything that's visible. So we're going to get a green and a yellow, and we're going to get 2 money. You then move this furthest left down 1. The next person goes there is going to get everything that's visible, so red, 2 coins, and a yellow, and then they'd do the same, and then after, when they're all at the bottom, you reset them back to the top. Over to reds now. What are they thinking? Reds, let's go to this spot and show this. So they could undertake this governor option, which they're just going to pass on for now. Now here you can take either a red or a green or a yellow, and you roll 2 dice, and dependent on the outcome you get a number of blue. So reds are thinking, okay, I might want to start heading down this market to get some money. I'm going to take 1 red, roll 2 dice, it's an 8, a 7 or 8 gives you 1 blue. Okay, we'll take that. Yellows are going to come back here, so we land on top of this previous assistant. We are going to go with 6 this time. We're going to be ambitious. Easy, we got a 9. So we take 6 money. Now I kind of went for 6 because now we can go back to the Wainwright and get another addition to our wheelbarrow. Over to reds then. So they are thinking, okay, we could do with some yellows. So we're going to go back to the fruit house, land on the previous assistant, up that to yellow. That's great. Over to, yellow fruit. I'm talking about yellow player. These guys go back on Wainwright. They're going to pay 7 coins. And you can see they landed on the assistant there. They're going to get an additional part to their wheelbarrow. Reds are up, so you can see how quickly it flows. They leave an assistant here. So the small market then, the top visible card, we can pay 1 blue resource, 1 red, and 1 yellow. So we've paid 3 resources from that card, and that will get us 9 money. Very nice. Let's take a 10 and a 1. So you then discard that card at the bottom of the pile, and you can see the next market card there. Now I should add, you can't stay on the same spot and do that. You have to move somewhere. So you can see, yeah, place it on top, place it next to, otherwise your turn ends immediately. Yeah, we've done that, and carry out the action optional. Right, what else can we show you guys? So let's get yellow, and let's go here. The Karan, I can't even pronounce that, number 6. So here, okay, what can you do? First off, we're going to have to pay for the blue merchant of 2 money, but no, we haven't got any money here, so yellows aren't going to do that. Instead, we're going to go to the tea house. Let's go to the tea house again. We'll go for 7 this time. Let's push. 6. Okay, so we only get the compensation of 2, but at least we've got just enough money to go here, and I'll demonstrate what that does in a minute. So over to reds. We're going to go to the police station. Now, what does this police station do? So when your family member, so you can see your relevant colour here, that's your family member, he's been bad or she's been bad, and you're going to send this, you get to send this person out, you can see here, to any tile. So maybe you're really close to winning the end of the game, and red here, which hasn't really got any resource, but maybe they want to, where are we going to go? Maybe they want to just really get to the post office. Probably not the best example. And they then take the action. So they're going to get a red, a yellow again, and 2 money, and then we bring that cube down. Now, if an opponent, which I'll do next actually, if these guys came to the post office, so they go on top of that assistant, if you meet another family member, it says here, other family members, you send them back to the police station, you've caught them, well done, and you get a bonus. You can either take 1 bonus card or 3 money for each of them. So if there's more family members there and you've busted them, you get more money. So we're gonna take the 3 money in this case, and we actually do the action of the spot. So we're going to get 3 money. Lovely, we've got loads of money for sending them back to the police station, and we're going to get a red and a yellow, and we're yellows here, so yellow and a red. One of these goes down, so we're in a great position to go back to the Wainwright and complete our wheelbarrow. Over to reds then. So they can't do the same action again, so they couldn't just send their family member back out. They are going to go, let's go to this large market. Okay, so you can see they've got no more assistants underneath them now. And they're going to do 1 yellow. They're going to sell fruit to this, what should we say, this customer at the large market. 1 red. So they've only sold 2 goods, not the best. 2's going to get them 7 money. And that was the reds done. Yellows then are going to go 1, 2. Leave 1 there, and they're going to pay 2 for 6, 7 bucks. And they're going to take this wheelbarrow. Now I've gone really hard on this this certain spot the way, right? Because I wanted to kind of show you these rubies. So they have filled this now here, and this attains them the 1 ruby there. So if you played a 3-4 player game, you'd obviously put the matching number of rubies there. 1 ruby attained. We're 1/6 of the way over to reds. Now reds have got a couple of options. They can either go to a previous spot where their assistant is. So if they did go here, which is fine, they could then send their family member up. Or if they're thinking, right, I just want to start again, I don't really want the police station, I don't want the small market because they've only got 1 yellow to sell, they'd probably want to go back to the fountain. You take all these back and that is your go. So you can see that 1 extra go to do that. If you can be uber efficient by, you know, picking up your assistants on the way, you might never have to go to that spot. So reds did that one. Over to yellows, and let's do something we've not quite explained. So you can see now, if these guys went here, if they wanted that yellow one, you can see they're having to pay 2 more resources for that. And interestingly, you start the game with the capability to hold 2. So if someone goes and gets all these 2s first, you have to go and build your wheelbarrow up to be able to even buy that one. But equally, doing your wheelbarrow early means that if I go here now, boom, I've got all this green, what was it, spice, all the way to the top. So I don't even have to worry about spice. So I'm not having to go like these guys back to the warehouses again and again. So these could just sort of trail around the board, fill up on all the resources, go to the small market, you know, make loads of money. And then they could go over to the larger market and get loads of money, and then spend all that money at other gemstone dealers and where are some of the other stuff, Sultan's Palace. Now, I'm not going to carry on playing. I'm just going to explain a little bit more about some of the spots we've not been to. So let's start at the top here. That's just your typical warehouse. You get more. These ones, so we've explained the yellow one. The blue one, you get an additional assistant, which is 1 out of the board, which is great, more flexibility. The black market we've done, the small mosque, so you've got the one I've already explained, which is where you get to re-roll one of the dice or roll both. And this one gives you the ability to spend 2 money at one of these warehouses. You can see the crate symbols, so there's a couple around the board here, and you get to pick another good of your choice, which is a great way to get the blues because they are scarce, as I said. Sultan's Palace, so what do you do here? You can attain a ruby by literally providing a blue, a red, a green, a yellow, and one of your choice. Boom, you take the ruby. So if you manage to get loads of goods like these guys might have, you can just go there, get ruby after ruby, but as you see, they get, you know, all these resources to attain one. We've done the fruit warehouse. This one, you would either take, oh, what does that say? 2 cards from here and keep 1, is it? I can't remember now. Well, you take the top one, but either you get a choice from either the top of the deck or the one visible, which is quite nice. Get some money. We've kind of overdone that one in this game. Tea house we've explained, post office we've explained, fountain, small market, police station, large market. So gemstone dealer is exactly like the Sultan's Palace. You have to pay the money this time rather than goods. So you pay 15 bucks and you get this diamond, so it gets quickly, you know, more expensive. So if you can be close to this tea house and you're going back and forth, maybe there's a market. Well, this is ideal, really. You go to the tea house, the post office, the tea house, then back to the gemstone deal, and you just keep buying them. So, you know, different strategies for different players. Now, once you have filled up your gems, you trigger the game, and maybe your opponent has 1 more go, depending on where the start player is. And that is it. You've won the game. So there's a lot of intricacy to the variety, well, based on the variety of the setup, really, and how you're going to maximize that strategy. In most games I've played, it's been so close when playing this one. And literally, that is it. There we are, folks. Enjoy.